John Harbaugh had his Monday press conference, and he was asked about a plethora of things, but I picked out just a few of the things that I think most of Ravens Nation probably cares about the most out of this, 16, 17-minute press conference, including he was asked about the two-point play selection and what went wrong. Of course, it was asked about Justin Tucker and possibly bringing in competition for him. And one of the biggest things, maybe second to Tucker or 1 and 1A, I guess, would be the penalties. And he gave a very lengthy response to that. I'm going to show you all of that in just a second so you can hear exactly how Coach Harbaugh responded. But before I do that, welcome to Flog Talk, your home for all things Baltimore Ravens football. If you're a Ravens fan and you're new to this channel, take a second, like the video, subscribe. We're trying to hit 2,000 subscribers by the end of the season. If you can help me do that, man, I would genuinely appreciate it. Everyone from Ravens Nation, hit that subscribe button. But enough of that. Let's get into this press conference in which John Harbaugh was asked about the two-point play and its lack of success. Here's what Mr. Harbaugh had to say.
After looking at the film, what did you see from the two-point conversion attempt there at the end? It seemed like the Steelers were saying afterwards that they knew that the play was going in the direction it was.
Well, it didn't work. I think anytime you got a play that didn't work, you kind of look at it very critically. I mean, we're disappointed in that play. You want to have a better play up there, a better play call, a better executed play, everything along those lines. So I think, in every game, whether you win or lose, but especially when you lose and especially when it's an opportunity to tie the game at the end after a hard-fought game like that, you got to look at those plays really hard. And that's one we'd like to have back just across the board.
So breaking news from John Harbaugh, it didn't work. So there you go. There you have it. Pretty thorough response there, ladies and gentlemen. No, but in all seriousness, look, we've seen plays like this work in the past. What I don't understand, in which he was further asked about, but I'm not going to bother to play you the clip because it's just, more talking in circles in a way, but is why was Derrick Henry not in the backfield with Lamar Jackson? Okay, it's fine Lamar Jackson ran it, but when you have Derrick Henry back there, you have that threat that the defense is thinking, do we got to commit to this guy before he gets a full head of steam and tries to get through the line? Or do we focus on number 8, who's maybe the most agile and hard to bring down runner, or at least quarterback, in the National Football League? It gives the defense something to think about. But just a straight quarterback run from Lamar, apparently from what the Steelers players said, they kind of knew what was coming. And what was even more interesting to me is when they lined up the first go-around and they snapped it, it was clearly a quarterback run. It looked like that was more supposed to be for the middle of the line rather than stringing it out to the left. But the Steelers called that timeout, and then the Ravens went back and did another quarterback run. So, I don't know why you wouldn't have another option to run that's not so similar to the first thing you were about to run. But, look, that's neither here nor there. If it worked, then Todd Monken and John Harbaugh looked like a genius, but it did not. So, obviously, something they want back. Would have tied the game, didn't tie the game. I also don't know why they didn't kick the onside kick. Okay, let me rephrase that. I understand why they didn't kick the onside kick, but I still think they should have. But look, that's neither here nor there. It's all water under the bridge. I don't know what to say about it at this point. If it would have worked, if they would have kicked the ball down the field and it would have worked, then, again, John Harbaugh looks like a genius. But since it didn't, I will sit here and many other Ravens fans and second guess. He's probably second guessing, but that's neither here nor there. The next thing I want to cover is he was asked about Justin Tucker. Of course, we all are well aware of the struggles. I put a large portion of this loss in particular on Justin Tucker's foot because, man, those 2 missed field goals really came back to bite the Ravens. Am I saying they absolutely positively would have won if he made those? We'll never know, because those kicks, if he made one, may have changed the game and how the Steelers played certain things. But regardless, he was asked about Justin Tucker and bringing in a competition for Tuck, and this is what Coach Harbaugh had to say.
John, it seems almost an inconceivable question over the last decade, but is there any thought to bringing in competition for Justin Tucker as tryout candidates or anything?
At this point?
Yeah.
No, there's no thought to that. I mean, you have to find that competition first, just if you're going to be blunt about it. Where is that competition? That would be one thing, and the best option right now is to get Justin, back on point, because he's fully capable of doing it. Certainly haven't lost any confidence in Justin Tucker. You saw that on the 54-yarder we sent him out for, and he drilled it. So that's the Justin Tucker that he wants to see, that we all want to see on every kick. And he's definitely our best option, and he's going to make a lot of kicks. I really believe that going forward. But it's up to him. It's up to him and the guys he works with every day to make those balls go straight. So that's not competition right now at this time. No, that's not something we want for Justin. We just got to compete to get better, make those kicks.
So there you have it. No competition for Justin Tucker on the horizon. I understand you don't, why that would maybe shake a guy's confidence. I would say that Justin Tucker's confidence is probably a little shaken, even though he says it's not. I don't know how it couldn't be. Maybe it's not, and if it's not, then hats off to him. That's be a tough position to be in and not have your confidence waver at all. But he has a very impressive track record to lean on. Look, I want to see Tuck get it fixed. I know every single person in Ravens Nation wants Justin Tucker to return to his elite self. There's not one person from Ravens Nation rooting against him. The problem is it going to cost the Ravens? How many games will it cost the Ravens by the time you figure out if he's going to return to a great kicker or not? Because at this point, the unreliability from your kicker is hurting the team. And look, I love Tucker. He's had a Hall of Fame career, there's no doubt. But right now, we're in the present moment, and Justin Tucker is not performing, and it is hurting the team severely. Your kicker in today's NFL is a massive weapon. I mean, you're talking kickers that are drilling 60-yard field goals now. And the Ravens aren't even consistently asking Justin Tucker to do that at this point. But when you got a 47-yarder, a 50-yarder, those are gimmies in today's NFL. You just saw Chris Boswell line up and drill 6 field goals from anywhere from the 40 to over 50 range. The Ravens need that weapon back from Justin Tucker. So I hope he gets it fixed. I know you all hope he gets it fixed. But the question of, is there any sort of competition coming? It sounds like the Ravens are standing pat with Justin Tucker, probably for the rest of the season. I would say if the struggles continue, I would say we're going to see some off-season moves, maybe bringing somebody else in, or maybe drafting someone. I don't know if there's where that's going to end up, but we're going to see Justin Tucker the rest of the way. I firmly believe that to be true. But moving on to maybe the biggest contributing factor to their loss, along with the field goal woes, and that is penalties. And this is a very lengthy response from Coach Harbaugh. They lead the league in penalties and yards from penalties, both things you absolutely, positively never want to lead the league in, but the Ravens do, unfortunately. This is not a very disciplined group when it comes to penalties, and look, we've said it, I continue to repeat it, the only team that can beat the Ravens is the Ravens. That is, I believe, why they lost this game yesterday. And how many more games will it cost them? Will it cost them in the playoffs? Will it cost them in a championship? They have to get it figured out ASAP yesterday. So this is what Coach Harbaugh had to say about the abundance of penalties plaguing the Ravens right now.
John, is there any way to look at the number of penalties that the offensive line had, especially in this last game, but just throughout the year? Holds, illegal man downfield. Obviously, one of the strengths of this offense is Lamar's ability to improvise, hold on the ball, give receivers time. But with some of those plays, do you think getting the ball out faster would help address some of those penalties?
Well, the holding penalties run runs, and those are penalties that hurt us. I mean, it's just to start with what type of penalties we're talking about. First of all, too many penalties, way too many penalties. The penalties on offense are the one thing that is holding us back. That's the biggest issue. It shows up in different ways. So holding penalties on run plays, yeah, color separation, it's happening, and we're grabbing those guys. It's getting called. It's putting us to it's putting us to 1st and 20. It's putting us to 2nd and 19, and we're probably the best get back on track offense in the league right now, overcoming those things. But we shouldn't have to overcome them. When you play defense like we played, or you play in a game like we were playing in, sometimes it becomes too high a mountain to scale. And that's why we didn't score as many points. That's really the number one reason, because we were behind the sticks too much because of the penalties. So holding penalties, run game. No holding penalties in the pass game. We've been pretty good in pass protection. We haven't had too many holding penalties in pass protection. I give our line a lot of credit for that, especially the way Lamar moves around. I think they do a great job of blocking for Lamar that way. The linemen downfield penalties. In this game, there was one that happened on a run play that got taken out kind of like we took it outside to the right. I think we could have held our water on the line of scrimmage there a little better. The other ones were screens, where the screens get held up and the timing gets messed up. So that's tough, but we still got to try to find a way to be intentional about that and not get downfield. But I will say on the screens, when they cover the screen and it gets delayed, that's a tougher deal. Other types of penalties, help me out.
I was just asking
I'm trying to be like really specific about it. So you get, the special teams penalties. Yeah. I mean, the special teams penalties aren't acceptable. I mean, they back you up and put you behind. Those are both unnecessary penalties, and they're both technique penalties. One of them was a leverage penalty in the kickoff return, and in terms of not setting up the right way in the right spot to beat across your face, grab the guy. Okay, not okay. We work hard on that. The other one was the punt return downfield. You don't put your hands on. You don't try to block somebody on the tip of the shoulder pad because inevitably it becomes the back. On the punt return. Coach said all the time, not okay. There's techniques involved with that. Special teams is all about fundamentals and techniques, and understanding the spacing, the geometry of those plays, and we got to be better at that.
So there you have it. You very thorough response from John Harbaugh going into all the penalties. I mean, this has been something that's been discussed throughout the season. The same problems continue to arise. We'll see. That's something that needs to be fixed. This is not a Super Bowl team with all of these self-destructive, tendencies that the Ravens have, whether it's penalties or, in this game they had 3 turnovers, missed field goals. There's a lot of sloppy play, a lot of self-destructive things that ultimately cost them a win in this game. So if they can get this cleaned up, all of the things, the penalties, the turnovers, the field goals, all that, this team's going to be a force to be reckoned with, especially if the defense can continue to build off of the performance we saw yesterday, which I said was, and I still stand by, it was absolutely the best performance of the season. The question now lies, can this team clean up the penalties? Can they clean up their self-destructive problems that they have, especially in these big games? That's when it rears its ugly head the most, against the Steelers, against the Chiefs. Like, these are the games that you see it. They might do well against the Broncos or against Tampa, but you get in crunch time against the equal competition, and things tend to go sideways for the Ravens in these games. Not trying to be negative, but just being realistic and honest with what I'm seeing, and I'm sure you guys are seeing that as well. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you like what John Harbaugh said? Is there anything in particular that stood out to you about these questions he was asked or the way he responded? Let me know down in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you guys tuning into this video. If you're new here, subscribe. All we do is talk about the Baltimore Ravens. Help grow this channel as big as we possibly can this season. The goal is 2,000 subscribers. If we can get bigger than that, that would be freaking awesome. I appreciate all you guys that tune in and comment and support these videos. It genuinely means the world to me. So I appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you guys all in the next video. Go Ravens.